And if everyone can just reach up and mute yourself. I'll just go through and mute everybody because it's easy. Okay, I think everyone's muted. Okay, great. Dinacharya is daily routine in Ayurveda, and I thought it was particularly important to lead with that right now rather than waiting for the start of the cleanse. Give me a nod if you can hear me okay. Okay, good. And the reason being is because we're stuck at home. Most of us are stuck at home, or we're working and coming right home, and so we don't have much going on. And the good news is it gives us space to really practice these teachings. We have the time and hopefully the energy to do it. But maybe more importantly, we have a chance to really start to boost our immune system with these practices. What I love most about Dinacharya is that they're the foundational practices in Ayurveda. And it doesn't matter what your current circumstances are. What I recognize when folks begin to adopt these patterns, these daily rituals, is that most of their chronic stuff just falls away automatically. Like you've got diabetes or arthritis or whatever, your body begins to repair itself. It's like you're giving this deep nurturance so that your body can go, oh, you know what? I feel really good about myself. And for those of you who have been studying Ayurveda with me, it's your ahamkara, that higher soul self that longs to be here in your body, that it makes it happy and it doesn't want to flake out and go, you know, I don't want to be here. I want to get the hell out of here. I don't want to be in a human form. That's a little deep, but just tying it together. So the second page of the manual, if you printed it out, awesome. It looks like so. And if you didn't, no big deal. Just get a notepad because I'm going to add a little bit to this. I'm going to put my readers on so I can look at my notes, so I don't miss anything. So right now, hopefully you are in the process of weaning off of the things that you know are not so great for you. The sugar, caffeine, alcohol. I don't know if anybody's a smoker in this group. Artificial coloring, flavoring, packaged and processed foods. Hopefully you're either weaned from that or you're in the process of weaning from that, and you're going to be wrapping that part of this process up very soon. The reason we want to do that is because it taxes our system. It causes stress for our system. And what we want to do is be as stress-free as we can so that the body has all this space, all this room for repair versus, you know, keeping us on alert. And then our energy can be moved inward so that, you know, our minds and our bodies heal and become robust and awesome. So I'm just going to get right to it. Daily routine. When we start to dial it in, you may be noticing this already, but our systems, our biorhythms become more in tune with nature, and we find ourselves waking up just before dawn. And if we're not waking up just before dawn, you likely will be seeing that your system is shifting so that you're really more aligned. You start to wind down and want to go to sleep as the sun starts to set in the sky. But when you begin to adopt these quick and easy little principles, it becomes more and more apparent that you are part of nature. You really just start to flow with nature. So you wake up in the morning, preferably before sunrise, and probably you head to the bathroom and pee. And then you want to just drink a full glass of water, you know, just a full glass of filtered water or spring water, something clean. And that should facilitate a bowel movement right away. And if it doesn't, it will eventually with this practice. It was really funny. I had Jo as a guest. Jo's not on here, but you'll meet her during this session if you haven't met her yet. But I had her as a guest at my house, and we were going over this Dinacharya, and she was like, oh my God, drink the water and then you poop. It just works like that. You know, you want to give yourself space and time to just relax and make sure your bowels move. And it may take a week or two before that starts to happen. If that doesn't start to happen for you, um, then reach out to me. You know, our Facebook group is here for you to get feedback and to, you know, just ask anything you need. You can reach out to me on private messenger too. However you need to get supported is very fine with me. I've got lots of space right now. After you have your full glass of water and you go to the bathroom, you want to take care of your mouth. So you're going to scrape your tongue, you're going to floss your teeth, you're going to brush your teeth. And then I like to oil pull, and I think that's not on this list, but in light of everything that's going on, we want to clear our mouth and our throat. And if you take a teaspoon of coconut oil and just swish it around in your mouth and just let that oil cleanse and pull the the garbage out of your mouth, that's a good thing to do. And you want to spend 5, 10, 15, up to 20 minutes doing that. When you have the urge to spit because there's a loogie in there, you're going to want to do that, right? So that's pretty much taking care of the mouth. If you start to feel a tickle in your throat, this isn't on the list either, but it's information that you're going to want during this time. Take the hottest water you can stand and gargle. And gargle, add some salt to it, and then gargle with it. And just that helps to draw out more stuff out of your throat and clear the throat. After you clean your mouth, then it's time to neti. And some of you have an aversion to neti. I have to say that it's one of my favorite things ever. There's instructions on how to neti. If you need to go on YouTube to learn how to neti, it's very fine, but I really, really encourage you to at least try it. Take your neti pot, about a quarter teaspoon of salt. I just use regular salt. You can use sea salt or kosher salt. With warm water, you want your water to be, I use filtered water, and then I boil a little bit of water to warm it up so it's the same temperature as my body. And then you place the spout of the neti pot into one nostril, turn your face, and just relax. You have to breathe through your mouth so that the water can run through and then out the other nostril. So you'll be doing this over a sink. And after you're finished with half of the pot of neti, do the other side. And it just feels so marvelous. Let me see what I'm doing here. I've got Cindy in the, okay, I think this is better. And that way, Cindy's not going, I'm on the screen all the time. Okay, where was I? So neti, oil pull, and then if you feel dehydrated, our job is to be really super dehydrated during this process. You can sip on a couple of glasses of lemon water, just one glass of lemon water, just some more water. You just really want to make sure you're very, very hydrated. Prior to every single meal, a full glass of water. If you have trouble with digestion, if you're not too hot, if you don't run too hot, it's really good to have a ginger tea before your meal because it helps you to digest your food better. And we want to support our body as much as we can. You know, after this cleanse, by the way, I won't need these cheaters. My eyes will get better. That's how it always is. Your senses get more sharp. All right, then you want to move. If you're in your house mostly because we're quarantined sort of ish, you get outside and move if you can get outside. Stay inside and move if you can stay inside. You want to stay stress hardy. So I would encourage you to really do something with some vigor if it feels good to you. And if you're feeling like you need to do something less, you know, some yoga stretches, even, you know, a full yoga practice would be good at this point. And this would be prior to having a meal. And then after you're finished moving, your body has an inclination to be a little more quiet. So it would be a good idea to just sit and meditate, find some stillness. If that is not really available to you, if your mind's like crazy, you know, sometimes we get a little bit worked up, then journaling would be good. I would encourage you to do both. So one of the things we've done year after year is committed to doing 3 pages worth of journaling, and that helps to serve as a brain drain. All of the garbage that's showing up in your head, your thoughts, put it on the page, commit to 3 pages, just put the pen on the paper and just write, and don't worry about what it sounds like or looks like or if it's grammatically correct or whatever. But it does really help to process all of these thoughts so that you can really start to identify that the thoughts are not you. They are just a manifestation of a habit. So if you see a recurring theme in your journaling, we can begin to look at that. You know, maybe it's a trigger that always triggers you, or maybe it's, you know, it's an erroneous belief that keeps you in a state of suffering. But we are cleansing not only the body, but the mind, and we're, you know, so that our spirit can really shine forth. And I know that sounds so airy-fairy, but it is so very, very true. You'll begin to notice that as this process moves along. Before you shower, I would, you know, if you have the time and the space, I would take that boar bristle brush or some coarse cloth and just scrub your skin, dry scrub your skin, and it begins to stimulate your lymphatic system. It begins to remove the dead skin cells from the surface of your skin. The skin is actually an organ of elimination. So we want that to be wide open for this cleanse, for this process, so that we can rid ourselves of any built up toxins through the urine, feces, and sweat. But you may notice, like one of my clients this month said, I was standing in a pile of powder when I finished that for the first time. You know, there were so many dead skin cells on my body. And then, you know, it feels really kind of vigorous, and your skin will look pink. But then go ahead and take a shower and or a bath or whatever you want to take. After your shower or bath, put oil all over your skin. It's called Abhyanga in Ayurveda. And it only takes maybe a tablespoon or 2 to really massage into your body. You want to really emphasize the feet, the scalp, and the ears. And then move the oil from the periphery up toward the heart. You want to have long strokes toward the heart on the long bones, and then circular motions on the joints. But take your time with that. Give yourself as much time as you possibly can to really just nurture yourself with touch. It's a valuable practice. In fact, years after, I've had clients walk up to me years after doing this process with me, and they'll say to me, you know, the one thing that really sticks with them is often this Abhyanga practice. They won't give it up. They're like, it just makes all the difference in the world. Here's one of the things that Abhyanga will do for you. When things might get hairy with this COVID-19, or with the shifts and changes in our financial world or our physical world.
It's recording.
Thank you very much, Marianne. So yeah, that, you know, what a beautiful teaching. We need to be fluid, right? We need to be so fluid. All right. So we talked about dry brushing. I'm going to see if I bridge the gap. I apologize. But after you brush your body, before you shower, you want to, just scrub it until it's nice and pink, and then hop in the shower yourself. And then after your shower, you're going to oil your body and oil all of it. I was talking about, and I don't know if this came through, I was talking about how this is one of the pieces of feedback I get from participants years later, that they love the process of oiling their body. And when you oil your skin and give yourself that touch, it settles your nervous system. It allows your vata dosha to calm down. And it's hugely beneficial for creating peace in your life on a daily basis. So do not skip this step.
Even if
Okay.
you're kapha, because like kapha has tons of oil, but during this particular thing, we should do that anyways.
Well, okay, that's a really good point. You're really kapha.
Yeah.
You're the most kapha in this group. And for those of you who don't know this language, don't worry about it too much. It'll come to you gradually, and it's okay. You can always ask. If you are congested, Marianne, like if your drains aren't open, you might want to avoid, and this is for everybody, but if you're not pooping, urinating, and sweating, you might want to avoid the Abhyanga until you get that rolling.
Okay. But if I am, it's okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just
because you've got some nice flow going right now. I mean, you've unplugged a lot of your real strong kapha stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
But
cool.
if you start to get congested, back off of that.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. All right. And then we get to feed ourselves. That lovely, if you're getting those alkalized green drinks that taste like shit, just stir it in water and shoot it so that you can get your green food. Okay. And if you don't want to do that, make sure that you're getting a really big serving or servings of green food every single day. Hearty green food like kale or chard, or put cilantro on your food, like lots and lots of greens. It's really important for this process. We're going to be pulling, this is a side note, I don't think I've ever said this before, but we're going to be pulling ama, or congestion, out of our body. And what is considered ama as well is the plaques in our arteries. And if we have enough green food, it helps to pull those calcium deposits away from where they don't belong. And often it shows up in our arteries. So as we're purging, we're really cleaning out our pipes, all of them. And then, this is the time to take your supplements. I failed to talk about how you want to take your triphala. So your glass of water in the morning is going to be filled with triphala, hopefully. And if not, just take your triphala tablets. But the rest of the supplements come during breakfast. So you're going to take your vitamin D, your milk thistle. If you take a multivitamin, make sure it's whole food, and your ionic mineral drops. And the milk thistle, you'll want to take through the entire cleanse, because we are going to be pulling toxins from the deep tissues, and we want to protect the liver, and it's a liver protector, and it should support us a whole bunch. So the rest of the day is really a matter of being mindful. You want to eat with mindfulness. You want to avoid snacking, not at all costs. If you feel hungry and stressed because you're hungry, have something small so that you don't feel stressed. But optimally, you want to drop down to two or three meals a day, and begin to eat lighter and lighter quantities. Enough to feel supported, but not so much that you feel overstuffed. You can have the green drink for breakfast. It might feel like enough. Or you can have a grain like oatmeal and raisins or something like that. And we'll get into that more the next time we gather. So your biggest meal of the day will be around noon, and that's in alignment with nature. When we eat, when the sun is the highest in the skies, our digestion is the most robust, because we are nature. And so we want to have the most satisfying meal around the middle of the day, because we'll be able to digest it the best at that time. We want to hydrate ourselves throughout the day, but we don't want to drink too much water during our meal times, because we will dilute our digestive juices. I mentioned that last time we met, but it's worth repeating. So you want to sip on hot water throughout the day. And I got this teaching again when I planted some chamomile seeds. And the plant medium, the instruction it instructed us to pour hot water on the plant medium, and it just hydrated that. It was coconut fiber, hydrated the coconut fiber like immediately. Had I used cold water, it probably would have taken hours for it to soak up. And that's how our bodies respond to hot water versus cold water. we really hydrate much better when we're sipping on hot water. And the hot water can be in the form of herbal tea. So some of your favorites. We want to include a beet a day if that's at all possible. So raw beet's best. Peter makes a tea with beetroot powder in it. It's so delicious, and it helps to support your digestive tract and helps to support this process. So if you want to get Pete's happy gut, that's an amazing thing to add to this repertoire. The whole day, you want to avoid rushing. You want to be mindful. You want to be chill. When you need vigor, have vigor. I encourage vigor every single day just to make ourselves stress hardy. And what I mean by that is not beating the crap out of yourselves or getting into some sort of long distance running or something, but more, just lifting something heavy and, maybe jumping up and down a few times, doing some vigorous breath work, anything to just get your nervous system moving from fight or flight back to calm and, tonifying the nervous system. At night, you want to chill and, do loving, wonderful things. And I know you've been in practice for the last couple of weeks for sure, hanging out with family and loved ones. Ideally, you want to completely unplug from any technology 2 hours before bedtime. Nicole, I'm wondering, back when we first started, you were like, bed by 10? Oh my God, I don't go to bed till 1. Has that been dialing back more?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually usually in bed. I know this sounds crazy. I'm usually in bed by 11 these days, which is, I mean, I used to stay up until 3 in the morning easily to try and get my work done. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's taken years though. It's taken years of doing this over and over again and practicing it and working on it to, yep.
Yay. And it makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens this time.
Yeah. Maybe I'll actually hit 10 o'clock. What do you think? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we want to celebrate with you if that happens. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So nighttime, have a really light dinner. The lighter, you want to eat enough that you won't wake up in the middle of the night starving to death, but not so much that you go to bed with food still really heavy in your stomach. And a good way to really bring yourself into a good space is to meditate and journal again. Pick up your journal and just, drain your brain. If you've got a lot to do the next day, I know a lot of folks that'll just, their mind will be on, just worried about all the things they have to take care of. If you put it on a list, then you don't have to even think about it anymore. Have your triphala, your second glass of triphala before bedtime. And that's daily routine. Now, if any of you are feeling super congested and just things are not moving for you, you got crud in your throat and your digestion isn't working very well, it might be appropriate for you to take a dose of castor oil, like now, prior to the cleanse. If that's not the case, then it's not necessary. But if you're really, really congested, reach out to me and we can chat about it. That's all I've got as far as daily routine. Does anybody have any comments, questions, concerns, want to share anything?
I do. I have a question. So I thought that you were supposed to do your oiling before your shower, and you're saying do the oiling after the shower.
Yeah, that's a great question because you can do either. For a long, long time, I did it before the shower, but what I was doing was clogging my drains. So just practically, it's kind of better to put it on after. But then if you put it on too thick, it gets on your clothes and things start smelling like rancid oil. So it really is a preference, Michelle. So you do what you feel. You're doing it before. Does it feel good to you? Yeah. Okay. Well, what I would do about once a week is pour a kettle full of boiling hot water down your drains, just to make sure.
Well, and actually, I think it would be more helpful time-wise if I did it after my shower, because then it's just staying on you all day then. So yeah, I liked that. That was a good.
Okay, good.
I also heard the same thing with the oil pulling, that you should just spit it into like a rag and throw it in the trash. Otherwise, that's an option. Otherwise, you're going to have to like be unclogging your drain.
Yeah, thanks for that, Tia. That's a good point too. Yeah, that it's nasty. I mean, that oil emulsifies all the crud, and it's you don't want to have it in your drains anyway. Like, spit it in the trash. Yeah, or in the toilet or something.
Yeah. And then
This is Karen. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay. About which oil should we be using this time of year? Should we switch to coconut oil?
No, coconut's a little too cooling for right now.
Okay.
I mean, unless you run really super hot, stay with the sesame. This is springtime is transition, right? Like we're moving out of kapha season. It's thick and heavy. And the winds and the rains and all the stuff is you really want to go a little warmer of an oil. So the sesame oil is probably better. Karen, did you have a question?
I did. 2 questions. What about almond oil?
Yeah, that's great.
Good. I
Because
have a whole bunch of almond oil, so I haven't used that as a body supplement, more of a, I make creams and things with it. So I thought maybe that would be good.
Yeah.
And then the other one, the alkalizing green drink mix that you recommend in your manual, I can't get it. I'm being told that they're unable to ship for Prop 65 reasons or whatever. So I'm wondering, where else can I get this, or is there a substitute for that?
Yeah, you can hop online and find a canister of powdered greens. And
That's what I mean. I did that.
Yeah, there's nobody will ship it to Cali.
Right. Prop 65 doesn't allow them to ship it to us.
And you've got a grass allergy, right?
I do.
So
maybe you can give.
So I know that there's an alkalizing mix from Dr. Sabi. He has something called Cell Fuel. Would that be a good supplement possibly? It has all 102 vitamins and minerals you need.
I'm not real familiar with that product, but just look at the ingredients, make sure it's all just food.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's burdock root and like 2 different kinds of sea kelp.
Okay. Yeah. Karen, I know you're so good with your diet and everything, so you might just smoothie some greens, have a
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. And just make sure you get an ample amount of them in your diet.
Sure. No problem. I can take care of that. I'll just have fresh greens and we'll be fine.
Okay, awesome.
Great. Thanks.
Uh-huh. Any other questions? Who's excited? Me too. Me too. I love that. So love it. Okay, well, I don't want to overwhelm. This is plenty to do. If you're struggling with any piece of this, if you are having a meltdown because, the shit show's about ready to begin in the world, reach out. We can do more of the things that we've been doing to keep ourselves, grounded and everything. So is everyone doing okay?
The hospital said that they expect a big influx within 2 weeks, like within the next 2 weeks. So just let everybody know that that's what they're saying around here. So
yeah, stay healthy. The clearer you can keep your drains, the better you'll fare if you do end up with this virus.
Hey, Kathy, I have a question for you. Can you speak to the Ayurvedic sort of viewpoint of the lungs and what the lungs are about?
Oh man, you're stretching me, girly. Let's see. Lungs are kapha. You know, that's kapha dosha rules the lungs. And we want the lungs to be lubricated, but we don't want them to be we don't want too much kapha in there. And kapha, for those of you who don't know, is sticky and mucousy, right? And you're like, oh yeah, duh, Kathy, of course. But to keep kapha balanced, you need vigor, you need movement. Kapha dosha likes to be sedentary. It is heavy. Its qualities are thick and dull and heavy and wet. You know, kapha is made from earth and water. So what we want to do is balance it out with fire and air and space. And how do we do that? One of the best ways is to have spicy food. You know, ginger's awesome, right? Like anything fiery, think in terms of sun is fire. Go outside, and when the sun's out, be in it. And then air and space is easy to address with the lungs. You breathe. Like the breath of fire is a good one. Let's do it together. So
Naked child running around behind me. I apologize.
You know, this Kapalabhati, Lisa Teal did this thing yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I should be teaching that too, because it does invigorate our nervous system, and it helps to create tone in the nervous system, but it also airs out our lungs and creates fire in there, right? She described it as Kapalabhati is like if you have two flies that fly up your nose simultaneously, what are you going to do? Right? So snort out like two flies flew out up your nose. Okay? And let's just do a round of 25 of them together or so. And go at a pace that feels okay to you. I'm going to keep my sound on so you can hear me snorting. Okay, you ready? Let's inhale. And then exhale halfway. Inhale and begin. And then just breathe normally. And you should feel like the air in your lungs, there's an easier pathway. Is that right? Wouldn't hurt to do that every. Does that answer your question, Nicole?
It does. It does.
All right.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Excellent. Does anybody have any other questions? My internet's unstable. All right. Let's beam each other some really lovely light. Thank you for showing up. Reach out if you need anything. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you, Kat. Bye, everybody.
Hi, thank you.
Oh.
Bye.
Thanks.